What's up, guys? So we just got the latest edition of the developer's backyard for Guilty Gear Strive. Since the game has been delayed until June, they have a little bit of time to look at everyone's feedback from the open beta, and they released this developer's backyard where they go through the results of the feedback survey and what changes they're planning to make between now and release in terms of improving the game based on people's feedback. So first of all, before we go through all this, I want to talk about how just kind of crazy it is that we even get this info shared with us. I don't know if you guys pay attention to these things, but if you look at most games or just companies in general, they don't share the results of surveys like this. They use that information internally, but they don't share it with the public because that would give them a level of accountability that they don't want, because people could actually see, you know, in general, what the end users are happy and dissatisfied with. So I think it's crazy that we even get this info. I appreciate it from ArcSys. I think it's great that they are so transparent and open about these things with the community. So yeah, I like that. And in terms of what's actually in here, there's some stuff that I like, some stuff that is slightly worrying to me. But overall, you know, the game is about 2 months away now, and I'm pretty hopeful for it. So yeah, you can see there were 51,000 responses to the survey. You know, maybe actually a little less than I expected, but this is only people who played the beta, which I guess is only like the most hardcore people. So the first thing we're looking at here, which character did you use most during the open beta test? So obviously it seems like Ramlethal seems very popular, #1 or #2 across the board. Soul, also pretty popular, 1st, 2nd, 3rd in most places, 4th in Europe. An interesting one I thought was that Giovanna was #1 or #2 in every region except Japan and Asia. Something about it. Us guys over here, we liked Giovanna a lot, but Japan and Asia, she was down here in 4th. And then for whatever reason, Nakoruyuki, 5th place across the board. That's just like a weird coincidence, I think. But yeah, these are the characters that people actually used, and that kind of matches up with my experience playing online matches. I think these were definitely the characters that I saw the most. But which character did you like the most in Guilty Gear Strive? Guys, across the board, they all liked Ramlethal. I mean, I think it makes sense because she was pretty simple, pretty easy to play. She felt very effective. I think a lot of people, myself included, who made kind of preliminary tier lists, we were definitely feeling like Ramlethal was strong. And also, you know, the waifu lovers and stuff, I think, like her as well. So that checks out. Giovanna in #2. Again, like, Giovanna not that popular in Japan and Asia. She didn't even crack the top 5 in Japan. But 2nd place in North America, South America, Europe, and Oceania. And yeah, I had a ton of fun with Giovanna as well. She was definitely up there for me. Definitely similar to Ramlethal, like easier to play character, more simple, which means that in a short and condensed beta like that, you can just jump in and have fun. Nakoruyuki, surprisingly high. He cracked the top 5 in every region. I know some people were saying this character feels weak. He feels maybe incomplete. Personally, I did have fun every time I played the character, but he's definitely difficult. I'm curious to see if he's going to get any changes, but people clearly enjoyed it, and yeah, Soul and Kai also did pretty well, which I think makes sense. More sort of basic characters designed to teach you the fundamentals. And then Potemkin only cracked the top 5 over here in Oceania, so that was pretty interesting. So anyway, according to Katano-san, they asked for the characters everyone played, but the answers were more or less similar. So yeah, the ones that people played the most tend to be the ones they enjoyed the most, which I think checks out. Ramlethal is extremely popular in every region, it seems. True. Okay, so rating the following modes. So now we're getting into the really important stuff. Versus mode. I did not play versus mode, so I guess I must have answered NA, or like maybe I just said good. I didn't get a chance to play local versus, but you know, most people who did, it seems like over 90% thought it was good or very good. Tutorial mode, kind of mixed here, which yeah, the tutorial was like basically not there. We're gonna get to that more. The tutorial did not teach much. I definitely thought the tutorial was average or maybe even bad. And the network mode, the online lobby, this was where they took the biggest beating here. Over a quarter thought that it was very bad. It looks like close to 30% thought it was very bad. And then maybe like another 25% thought that it was bad. Well over half thought that it was bad or very bad. And then the network mode quick match, seems fine. A majority thought it was good or very good. And then training mode, over 90% it seems thought it was good or very good, which checks out. I thought that the training mode was really good. It was a little bit like overly complicated, but I would rather have it be like have a learning curve but be full featured than just not have the features that I want. So I really like the training mode as well. So some of the thoughts on here, this is where maybe there have been some mixed reactions. It's hard to say what comes down to like translation and or like miscommunication, and what comes down to just the ideas of the developers not aligning with what the players actually want. So versus mode received a high rating, perhaps due to the option to rematch without extra loading time. Yeah, see, I didn't get to experience that, unfortunately. But yeah, it didn't get as much playtime due to the effects of COVID. That checks out. Tutorial received mixed reactions. Some praised it for the unique freedom as opposed to traditional textbook-style explanation. Others pointed out that it lacks the explanations needed for an introduction to the game. Yeah, it kind of lacks a lot. It doesn't really teach you the game. Our intent for the tutorial mode is to show the player they can enjoy fighting games without having to study. We intentionally left out explanations of game mechanics and the different uses for each attack button. I don't know, guys. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, I do agree that I think a lot of people set up mental barriers that prevent them from getting into fighting games. A lot of people are intimidated from playing fighting games because they think that you need to know all the combos. You need to know optimal stuff. You need to know every matchup. You need to spend 8 hours in training mode before you can go online. And I do think it's good to break people out of that and to just go, listen, you can just play the game. Even if you don't know what you're doing, just play the game and have fun. That's what games are for. So I do appreciate that, but like the point of a tutorial is to teach people the game. And generally fighting games don't have a great track record at doing that. And the fact that they're not even like acknowledging that that's a problem that needs to be solved is slightly worrying to me. We checked the results data and replays from the first floor of the rank tower and saw many matches where neither player used special moves or every game mechanic. For the most part, we felt this style of tutorial was successful. So, yeah, they're considering it a victory that people got through the tutorial and still didn't know how to do special moves. I don't know about that. Like, for sure, I think that, people should be playing even if they like don't know how to roam and cancel, or they don't know their character's supers, or they don't know a good combo. Like, I think people should totally play even if they don't know all that stuff. Like, just play the game and have fun. This isn't a test that you have to study for, but like if they're not even doing special moves, that's kind of nuts to me. I don't know, but they consider it a success, so that's interesting to me. Mission mode will include missions for practicing game mechanics such as wall break and roam and cancel. So I guess, what they're trying to say here is the tutorial is just to get your feet wet, and then if you're a nerd like me who actually wants to learn things, you can do the mission mode. But yeah, we'll see. I think the tutorial should teach you the game. I think that's a bar that should be cleared, but it is what it is. But now on to the really controversial stuff. The online lobby is the area from the test we need the most work on and have determined needs to be improved before release. Gotta agree. I think most people would agree that was the big problem with the beta, was the lobby. The lobby sucked. Even aside from the server issues, it was difficult to use and hard to understand how it worked. Yeah, I agree. We continually worked on internal improvements following last year's closed beta test. We realized we let everyone down. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty like emotional language. I feel bad, them saying they let everyone down, but it's definitely true that with the first open beta, people were like, guys, it's just placeholder. The lobby is gonna get fixed. Don't worry, it's just a placeholder lobby. But of course, that is exactly the lobby that was gonna be in the final game until they delayed it. So plans to fix the issues. Change to a system where players select a visible area where they want to have a match. So I guess that means like instead of teleporting to like a special spot where you wait for your match, they'll have like distinct areas and you wait at each one. I don't really get how that is much of an improvement, but whatever. After winning a match, the player stays where they are in a battle-ready state. Okay, good. Thank you. It was so confusing. Every time you finish a match, you would have to ready up again, and it would teleport you somewhere random, and that sucked. So unless their rating changes. So this was something I thought was kind of annoying, that if you rank up, you get kicked into the next higher floor, and if you were playing with a friend, you lose your friend. They're just in the last floor, and you get kicked up. I don't like that change, but I guess they don't want these lobbies to be used for playing your friends. I'm not sure. Are we supposed to do like private matches with our friends? Is that even a feature in the game? They haven't been clear about that, so I don't know. Adding a rematch option. Okay, I've seen some people on Twitter defending this, but in my opinion, there is no way to read this other than they were not planning on having a rematch option until the delay, right? You guys can tell me if you think I'm crazy in the comments, but there is no way to read this that the plan was to have a rematch all along. Clearly, the plan was not to have rematch. The plan was to have you go back to the lobby every single time and have to sit through 10 load screens between every match. Clearly, that was the plan. But enough people complained that now they're going to add one. And listen, I'm glad they're adding it. But let me just say, Sajam was right, okay? Sajam was right. Everybody got on Sajam's case. They were like, of course there's going to be rematch, bro. It's just not there because it's a beta. There was not going to be rematch. But we all complained enough that now they're going to add it. So good work, Sajam. Expanding the area in each lobby, adding an option to... Okay, so this is just like visual stuff. And then a dash movement for avatars. Whatever, I don't really care about that. So they're making lobbies more like those in our other games. However, systems such as moving floors when your rating changes and the option to enter training mode while waiting for a match will remain. So, yeah, like... It does sound like they're improving it, but I still have issues with the core concept of these lobbies, right? Something I've thought about a lot is that I think that the number one thing that makes people quit fighting games, I might make a whole video about this idea. The number one thing that makes people quit fighting games is they cannot find opponents close to their skill. In my opinion, that is the number one issue. New players jump on and they can't find other new players to play against. And in my opinion, the best way to fix that issue is to find the widest variety of players as possible to play against. So, like, rollback helps with that because you can play people who are further away. If the connection is better, you can actually play people who live in another country or whatever. So, rollback is good. Crossplay is big. This game doesn't have crossplay, but it is what it is. And, like, just matching people up. You want to have as wide a variety so you can find someone closest to your skill level. But all this lobby does is make it harder for that to happen. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but even if you're waiting in training mode, if you're waiting in training mode for a match, it is still only matching you up with people in the same lobby as you. I think some people are confused about this. Even if you're on the main menu of the game, and you go to like the match from training mode option, it is still placing your avatar in a lobby and relying on other people in the lobby to come find you and match with you. Which is a terrible idea because each lobby is instanced. There's max going to be, what, like 50 people in one lobby? The pool of players to match against is minuscule. It makes no sense to reduce your possible pool of opponents to such a small number. You're just going to play the same people over and over. If you're a new player, you're just going to get destroyed by good players. You're not going to be able to find the other new players because you're going to be spread out amongst a bunch of different lobbies. I think it is a nonsense system that makes no sense. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, if you go to ranked or you go to player match, it searches everyone. It doesn't only search people in your lobby. So they already figured this out with Dragon Ball FighterZ. I don't understand why they're making it worse with this game. So again, I'm sure I sound like I'm being harsh. I appreciate that they've taken our feedback to heart. They recognize that there's a problem with the lobbies. I appreciate that they're trying to fix it. And they're probably not just going to throw out the entire system 2 months before release. I appreciate that. But it bums me out that... it seems like they don't even understand why this is a problem. And maybe the reasons I think it's a problem are different from the reasons other people do. I could just have my own opinions, but it boggles my mind that we're still going to have this weird thing where you get instanced into a little lobby and there's no ranked. The only people that you can fight are other people in that lobby. That doesn't make sense to me. But well, let's move on. I'm getting too heated here thinking about the lobby. Let's move on. We're rating the different aspects Character visuals and animations, yes, everybody loved these. Incredibly good. Maybe like the best we've ever seen in a fighting game. So incredible. Stage graphics I thought were really good as well. Seems like most people agreed. Round start / windscreen visuals. I was kind of on this. Like I like that they try to give you some info on the windscreen. Like here's stuff that you did well. But I thought it was a little cluttered, and maybe the info was like not as interesting as it didn't seem like it actually teaches you very much between each round. It's more of just like a visual thing. Direction of the camera movement, it seems like maybe a little bit more mixed, but overall people still liked it. I mean, it is a little jarring the way the camera moves on counter hits and stuff, but I think we'll get used to it. We'll deal with it. Yeah, battle effects, battle system, definitely some people I'm sure were not happy with the battle system. I thought it was fine. It's, there's some weirdness if you're used to the older Guilty Gear games, but overall I did think it was fun. The music, listen, I like the music in Strive mostly, but I'm surprised at how positive the reception to the music is, because if you read Twitter, people hate the music on there. Everyone's like, this is not my Guilty Gear music. Get these vocals out. People do not like the music on Twitter, so I'm surprised that overall it seems like people were mostly positive about the music. I thought it was pretty good too, although some of the songs definitely got annoying, like the Society song. I was tired of that by the beta. So sound effects, I have no complaints about the sound effects. I thought they were fine. Voices I thought were good too. So we asked for opinions on several aspects of the game. Regarding the visuals and effects, we received many comments stating the game looks good, but there are issues with visibility. Players encountered issues with characters blending into the background and being difficult to see. And I kind of felt that too. I thought on certain stages, especially, the characters blend in a little too well. We're trying our hand in Strive at using effects and visuals that are thought of as taboo when developing fighting games. The current state of the game is the baseline for our general direction. We're still working on refining and improving it. As far as issues with the character's visibility, we're looking into adding a setting so that each player can adjust it for their needs. So is there going to be like a colorblind mode or something? Or maybe it'll be like a slider, like character contrast to the background. I mean, as long as I can make it so that I can see my characters on every stage, I'm fine with that. So yeah, we've received requests from many players who want to be able to select songs from previous Guilty Gear titles. In the retail version, you'll be able to purchase them with in-game currency. Okay, not real money. And set them as your background music. So yeah, I think they had already talked about this, that this was going to be a feature. I don't think this is new. This was always planned. But that's great. That's awesome. I love that. Tekken 7 lets you do that too, at least on PS4. And I love that. So I'm really happy about that. Battle system. Okay, so this is a lot to read here, and this video is already getting a little bit long, so I'll kind of zoom through this a little bit. The damage is too high. I would say I did kind of feel this. Damage definitely is extremely high, but basically they say that this is the plan. We like that the damage is high. This is part of Guilty Gear Strive's design, which, I mean, that's fair. If that's the game that you guys want, that's fine. It's intentional that they want you to be able to do damage without doing good combos, which I understand. But it's like also good combos do even more damage now. So it's like this is like a two-touch game, which if that's what you're into, that's fine. But it's a little wild, I think. But yeah, they feel the game mechanics are overall successful, and they're adjusting the game so simple combos and situational combos each have their own merits. So yeah, I guess what they're saying is that they want it. They want the good players or the experienced players to get a reward for doing something optimal that is like significantly better than if you just do like a baby combo that does 50%. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The game, it's going to be a high damage game, and we'll just have to get used to it. And if that's what they want to do, I'm willing to try it out. So this is an interesting one. I did not have this complaint at all, but some people apparently did. Roman cancels are interesting, but I felt limited by meter use. So yeah, fans of the previous games had positive things to say about Roman cancels. I felt the same way. I thought the Roman cancel system was maybe the best change in Strive in terms of the gameplay. Like the thing that was the biggest change that I actually thought was really positive. But many felt restricted because the round would finish before they could use Roman cancels how they like. We've reconsidered the general rules surrounding meter gain. We didn't simply increase the gain rate, but you should be able to use your meter more freely overall. Why are they being so coy about this? Just tell us what the change is. I want to know. Although we will be able to try it for ourselves pretty soon. I'll get to that later. I'm curious what this means. Are we going to get more meter for doing certain things? Who knows? This is a huge one. Jumping is too strong. I strongly agree with this. It's very hard to anti-air in Guilty Gear Strive. We determined this needed improvement and have made significant changes. Okay, I'm hype about that. He's saying that there will be a very noticeable difference from the open beta test. I love to hear it because I definitely think that this was one of the bigger things in terms of gameplay that a lot of the experienced Guilty Gear players, which I am not, but the people who are, had a lot to say about this. So it sounds great. Sounds great that they're making a significant change there. And then, yeah, getting rid of infinites. Of course, they're going to get rid of the infinites. They're saying that basically they're going to make extra knockback if you use the same move over and over, or it'll make them float less. That's fine. I'm sure they're going to figure out a way to get rid of infinites. Okay, so this is my favorite part of the whole survey here. Rate the comfort of the online battle. Can you guys see how positive this is? This is incredible. 70% thought it was very good. 70% gave it the highest rating. I gave it the highest rating. I thought it was nearly perfect. Some of the best online netcode that I've ever played. And 90% basically thought it was good or very good. And something like 3 or 4%, I kind of wish it was more precise, but a chunk just didn't play online. So like the number of people who didn't like it is minuscule. I'm just so happy, guys. We finally have good working rollback in a big mainstream fighting game, and it works perfectly, and everybody loves it. The utopia is here. Now, if only we could fix the lobbies and maybe add crossplay, but I'm not even going to complain about that because the online is so good. And plus, there's going to be instant rematch, so I'm just going to be able to sit there playing over and over in good online for like 12 hours straight, enjoying the rollback. I'm so happy, guys. And I'm glad that, listen, they're seeing it. They're like, yeah, wait, if we put rollback in the game, people actually like it? Yeah, bro, it's sick. I'm excited. So yeah, in some instance, matches would become quite unstable, sometimes becoming incredibly slowed down. So I didn't have this problem, but I did see clips on Twitter and stuff. It was like, just randomly, you would have a match that was like completely unplayable, like desynced or like completely just online not working. I never had that problem, but it definitely seems like it's like a bug. It's not like something inherently bad about the rollback implementation. It's just like, this is something that they're going to have to figure out and fix. And I mean, worst case scenario, if the game can just like detect that you're desynced and just kick you out of the match, that's fine too. So I thought this was really interesting that the input delay was fixed at 1 frame. So if you guys don't know how this works in rollback games, there are some games where you customize the amount of delay you want. So if there's really low ping, you can set your delay to 0 and it feels like playing offline. But if there's really high ping, you might have to put it up to like 3. But they just had it fixed at 1, which is pretty aggressive, actually. 1 frame of input delay is like, that means that you're probably going to get a lot of rollbacks if there's high ping, which I don't really have a problem with. But I was just surprised that this number is really low and everybody still liked the online. So if they can just keep it locked at 1 frame, I think that'll be fine in the end game. But they say they're looking into whether they should give players the option to set the delay. I definitely think like for power users, for hardcore gamers, being able to set it is nice. But it's the kind of thing where, like, for new players, if you give them the option, they just put it to 0 every time. They don't know how it works. So they just put it to 0 and they don't understand why the game looks choppy or why there's a bunch of rollbacks. So I understand why developers might be afraid to give users the option. I think they should, like, hide it in a menu. Like, if you go down to like game settings and then it's like advanced settings and then you click on it and it's like, warning, are you sure you want to change this? And then you hit yes. I think that's what they should do, because then the people like me who are like uber nerds can go in and change it, but then the new players will be scared away from messing with something that is going to make their experience worse. So yeah, to close things off, they are planning on a second open beta test. Love to hear it. They didn't say when, but the game comes out in 2 months, so it'll probably be sometime maybe in May. We'll have to see. So I'm excited to get some more time with the game. And yeah, they've received many kind announcements since announcing the change to the release date. I think, it's good to hear that there aren't people who are just knee-jerk, like, how dare you delay the game? I think overall most gamers understand we just want the best game. We're willing to wait if we end up getting a really good game out of it. And I think Strive has a lot of potential. I'm really, really excited to play it more. Looking forward to the next beta. And thank you again to Arc System Works for being so transparent and sharing this stuff with us. I think it's really awesome. So let me know, what do you guys think? You excited for the game? Are you ready for this 2-month wait? We're hunkering down. Let me know what you're hoping to see from the future of Guilty Gear Strive and the next beta. So, as always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.